Hey everybody, Wayne here. Sincerely hope that you are healthy and staying that way and getting to enjoy some time with family and friends that live with you. Today, we're going to talk about revenge affairs. And discovering that your partner has been unfaithful is probably one of the most emotionally devastating events, to say the least. In a blink of an eye, your entire world probably was turned upside down. And a myriad of intense feelings of rejection and abandonment, hurt, fear, sadness, shame, anger, rage, you name it, so many others. And many of you have thought about wanting to get back at your spouse by having your own revenge affair. But I want you to know this, and I want you to consider this, that revenge affairs can impair your relationship's chances of recovery, and at the very least prolong the recovery process, and your own emotional well-being will suffer greatly. What I've seen in my office is people have explained this to me, my clients have explained this to me, that the goal of most revenge affairs is to even the score, to do something that hurts your partner just as their actions have hurt you. And most people report that they want to make their spouse understand how they feel and to teach them a lesson. And truthfully, the outcome of revenge affairs is almost always, if not always, the opposite of that which you intended. You will not even the score. Your partner's affair broke safety, and it broke trust, and it fractured that bond between the two of you. And therefore, your affair won't have the same impact because you can't break what's already been broken. And most likely, you will make them feel justified in having their own affair. And I can name several examples where a revenge affair was used as an excuse to continue that original affair that your spouse was having. Instead of feeling guilty for you, your revenge affair will provide your partner a good excuse to dismiss your feelings entirely, because now they've got a whole set of their own feelings of being betrayed, and minimize the consequences of their actions. It will not help them get it in the way that you want them to. It'll distract you from dealing with the real issues in the relationship that led to the affair in the first place, which most likely one or both of you are conflict avoidant, there's a power imbalance, and somebody in the relationship is probably passive aggressive, or at least has those tendencies. And then add more deception and betrayal to the relationship is hardly the best way to lay the groundwork for rebuilding safety and trust and security in this relationship. A revenge affair will complicate things so severely that it will prolong the recovery process probably by years. I'm not exaggerating about that, because you're both now the unfaithful spouse and the betrayed spouse. It just further complicates it so much. By having a revenge affair, you're using your rage and anger to shield and protect yourself from dealing with other more painful and vulnerable emotions. And unless you deal with your pain and work through all the losses coupled with your grief, you won't be able to heal, and neither will your relationship. And making your partner feel worse will not make you feel better. I've never worked with a person that had a revenge affair that felt good about themselves afterward. You'll still feel just as betrayed and just as hurt and outraged, just like you did before. And now you'll have just piled on more of your own guilt and shame on top of all that other stuff. There's no doubt that betrayal creates a pain like no other, but two wrongs never make a right. Vengeance will never bring healing. It'll only further damage the relationship, and it can never change the past, and it can only cloud your future. Some believe that the lie that making the other person pay will somehow make it better, but it won't. It only leaves self-contempt as you deal with the knowledge of your own dark side. So maybe, just maybe, the goal is to find your own authentic peace as you walk through this whole process. And what I'm about to say could sound a little rough, but what I want you to consider is that if your partner isn't safe, then move on. I don't think that it will be worth the pain you inflict on yourself and others if you try to extract justice. If your partner wants to move on or isn't sure they want to be with you, then let them go. You don't want to be with somebody who doesn't have the good sense and the good taste to be with you. Because ultimately, peace only will be found in forgiving them for their betrayal. Remember that forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. We've talked about that so many times. There are so many videos out there about forgiveness. But the last thing you want to do is walk around angry and bitter all the time, despising both your existences. Do you really want to spend your one and only precious life focused on making someone else pay for what they've done to you? Our most valuable commodity on this earth is time. And I can think of much better ways to use my time than to holding on to a grudge from something that's happened either a long time ago or even just a few months ago. Granted, you still get time to work through all of it. But especially in the season that we're in right now, I'm just asking you to be open to forgiveness instead of revenge. I'm guessing that some of you are wondering if I'm saying just to move on or to forgive and stay regardless of what the other party has done. And I'm not really advocating for either one of those positions. I'm just saying that two wrongs don't make a right. If your spouse is a jerk, then don't go down to their level and act in the same way that they did. It was awful for them to act that way, and it's going to be equally awful for you if you do the same thing. If reconciliation is your goal then, I can promise that treating your mate with undeserved grace and respect has a far more reaching impact than doling out pain in equal measure. If someone hurts you and you respond in love, at the very least, it causes the other party to examine their own failure, and it leaves you in the one-up power structure of the relationship. One of the best things you can do for yourself right now is to find a group of supportive individuals who are walking the same road and are working toward the same goal, which ultimately is healing. You can find that in Harboring Hope, our online course for betrayed spouses, or Hope for Healing, our online course for unfaithful spouses, or EMS Online, which is our course for couples. Our programs draw their greatest power from the strength of a small group support because those who are currently in the same circumstances truly understand, and they get it in a way that nobody else out there does. By providing support as well as receiving it, couples and individuals get new insights and perspectives and wisdom, all led by an expert or somebody that has been down this road before. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. We are praying for all of you and wish you all health, that you stay safe and healthy in this crisis in the next few weeks and possibly months. Know that we're here to support you in any way we can. Take good care.